Hello, welcome to 9.2, part 2. Bam. There it is. So in this, we're doing the same idea. We're going to be given an equation, something like 3x squared minus 15x equals negative 18. And you're going to be asked to solve this equation for x with factoring, or find the roots, or find the x-intercepts of an equation. Uh, Basically, those are all the same thing. You get it equal to 0, you factor, you solve for the answers. So same process as before. The difference in this particular piece is that the number in front of x squared isn't always going to be 1. So in a problem like this, I'd have to get it equal to 0 first by adding 18 to both sides. Whoops. Now I got to factor this. Now, you can take a 3 out first, but let's remember the process for how to factor this. The process is we do a times c, 54. And then we think, what multiplies to 54 but adds to negative 15? So we think of things that multiply to 54. 27 and 2. Nope, those don't add to 15. 54 and 1. Nope, those don't add to 14. 9 and 6. Oh, those add to negative 15 if I make them both negative. Which means I can actually build my piece here. I know how to build my box now. I know all the parts. So anytime we found these, we just knew how to build the box. So we always know our first term goes up here. Our last term goes down here. And these two terms we found that add to negative 15 and multiply to positive 54, those are what go here and here. And we put x's with them because they are the two middle terms. Basically, this entire process we did at the beginning here is how to get this middle term to be correct, to match our original question, and be a negative 15. So now that we have it, we just build the sides. So 3 goes into both of these terms, so I'll put 3x there and x here. You actually could have put 3x on the other side too. It doesn't matter which side, because 3 goes into both 3 and negative 9 as well. If you did this combo, negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. X times what is negative 9x? It's negative 9. And we get, in factored form, 3x minus 9 times x minus 2 equals 0. I keep the equals 0 from before. All of this is just to factor this. Now all we do is figure out what each parenthesis gives us. So 3x minus 9 equals 0, solve that. And x minus 2 equals 0, solve that. And we add 2 to both sides, and we get x equals 2. And we add 9 to both sides, and we get, we divide by 3. And then we get x equals 3. And x equals 3 and x equals 2 are our two answers to that question. So a little more work than before, mostly because the factoring's a little harder. So let's try another example. Let's do 2x squared plus x minus 15 equals 0. So this one starts off equal to 0. So this is easier, because all I have to do is factor the side now. If it doesn't equal 0, I have to do some stuff to it to get it to match. All right, so I have to think about what adds to 1 and multiplies to negative 30 for a times c. So again, I'm doing the a times c factoring here. Now that we have this, things that multiply to negative 30 but add to positive 1 are, let's see, 30 and 1. No, definitely not. Those don't add to 1. 15 and 2. No. 5 and 6. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because if I make the 5 negative, those add together to give me a positive 1. So now I can build my box. 2x squared, negative 15. I always take these straight from the equation. Boink, boink. This looks really, really awful. All right, there, that's fixed. And then I put these terms each in these boxes, like so, negative 5 and 6. And they're my two x terms. And then I just label the sides as need be to make this work. So it's like a reverse Punnett square. What goes into both 2x squared and 6x? That's 2x. And 2x times x gives me 2x squared. 2x times what is 6x? It's a positive 3. X times what is negative 5x? It's a negative 5. And we have it factored. Now that we have it factored, we can just set each of these parentheses equal to 0 and solve for the two answers. Subtract 3, x equals negative 3, booyah, one answer down, add 5, 5 equals 2x. I got one more step. Divide by 2, x equals 2.5. Boosh. So 2.5 and negative 3 would be my two answers to this. So, again, more involved, a lot more to the process. It's a lot harder to factor when this number in front of x squared is not 1, which is why I only put 5 questions on the homework. Now, there's one more type of question that is a little different, but is one of the harder kinds of question in this. Let's say I have a graph, like so. And it's a parabola, and it looks like this. And it goes through negative 4 and 2 here. If they ask you to write an equation based on this, here's all you have to do. We know that the x-intercepts of this graph happen at 2 and at negative 4. So I know I have a parentheses x minus 2 and a parentheses x minus a negative 4. And I know that this is a possible answer to this. Now, there could be a number for this, like 2 or 3 or something, but on the homework there won't be. So you just have to do this. And so our final answer in factored form would be x minus 2 times x plus 4. And that's about it for what you need to do for factored form right now. We're going to be doing a little bit more of matching pictures to graphs, but this is the basic kind. You just take these two numbers and you do y equals x minus the first root, which in this case is negative, or 2 or whatever, r1 here, times x minus the second root, which in this case was negative 4. And so you can use this equation to do any of these kind of questions. Alrighty. And that's about it for today. So I tried to keep this video short. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me. Seriously, I am happy to email you to help you with homework. Some people have emailed me so far, and I've been able to help them. But, I mean, really feel free. Last piece is, if you're having a hard time factoring something, so let's say you have something like, let's make it really janky, like 3x squared plus 16x plus 45. I think this, wait, no, that doesn't have a nice answer. I'll make this an 18x. Let's say you're having a hard time factoring this. Here's a play to give yourself a hint for how to factor it. Open up Desmos. And my internet is being slow. Here we go. And graph this thing. So I have y equals, and what was my equation? It was 3x squared plus 18x plus 15. And then just look at where Desmos goes through. Cool, negative 1 and negative 5. Oh, well then I know x plus 1 times x plus 5 is part of this equation. Just from that, x minus a negative 1 and x minus a negative 5 are my two parentheses. But then I have this 3 in front at the beginning, so I just chuck a 3 on in front here. And we're good to go. So this is a pretty slick technique for finding the equation going backwards like this. So there are actually quite a few different ways to factor, and definitely you can always use graphing to check your work to make sure you factored correctly. All right, I know this is now my second ending. I'm sorry. But this is the for real one. Good luck with that homework, and we'll see you for 9.3 next week.